everyone, welcome back to Second Chance Exotics, and today we will be talking about whether or not you should cohab your leopard gecko and how I feel about it and what I do about how I do what I do. Okay, so you will be seeing my 6 female leopard geckos throughout this video, and I have 9 leopard geckos in all. I have 3 males and 6 females. So right here is Jasmine, and yeah, so let's get right into it. So right off the bat, the first rule of cohabbing, if you choose to do so, is not to get 2 males and put them together. Males are very dominant, they will fight to the death, like it's not a good thing, it's just don't do it. And then with that, don't do a male-female. Of course, if you're breeding, that's a different story, but if you're just trying to keep them as pets and you got 2 leopard geckos and they ended up being a male and female and you're just like, they'll be fine, don't do that to them, because the female can go crazy with the male trying to like chase her all the time and like whack out and like try and hurt him, or they can start doing stuff and she lays fertile eggs, and then from there you just, no, it's just like ugh. So try not to do that if you're not going to handle the responsibility of taking care of the eggs and breeding in a proper manner. So even if you were to be breeding, they don't typically keep them year round because that's just not fair to the female. Okay, and the final thing as far as just like right off the bat no-nos is a big size difference in the two. So, you know, like just like if there's a large size difference in them, then just don't do that. The smaller one will most probably definitely get picked on, and from there it's just not going to be a good thing for them. And if there's too big of a size difference, then the larger one could actually attempt to eat the smaller one, and that's just not a good thing either. The next thing to note is that this cannot just be thought of as something that you can do with all females that are around the same size and that you just happen to get at the same time. This is something that will take time and doesn't always work, so be prepared for that. And do understand that it is a case-by-case basis. Also, I was trying to find a spot in those clips for me to show off Daisy, but she was just running around everywhere. So yeah, this is Daisy. I'm a big girl, she's my oldest. Okay, and then I would say that none of this stuff is really like something as a positive. So some things are just like, I want to let you know as like cautionary reason, other things are just rules not to do, and I guess this would be the cons list for the negatives that would happen. So one thing that you're gonna have to on them, you won't be able to tell their actual eating habits. It depends on how you feed them. So you might just want to strictly tongue feed them and give them each a certain number every time, or you might want to keep several bowls out for them. But if you're just going to do one bowl, which is highly not recommended, you know, you can't really tell all the time. And some days you're in a hurry and you just want to put 2 bowls out, or I don't know, you know? So that's another thing. If you're not like going to be constantly tongue feeding them and you want them to like hunt for their food in like a larger dish, then you won't have that luxury whenever you're cohabbing. The other thing that you won't be able to monitor is their bowel movements. So whenever they poop and stuff and it's like it doesn't look right and you think that they could be sick, because one of the tell signs of like them getting sick is their feces. So do be prepared if you do see something like that and you think one of them is sick. You got to take both of them to the vet. So you can't skip out on that. That is something that you need to know could happen. And what you should definitely do is, if you think you can, like, I don't know, a lot of people that like breed and stuff, they know what they're getting into and they can fix it. But most of the time, majority of the time, 99% of the time, if something's wrong with your leopard gecko, you need to take it to the vet. And because they're in the same environment and you don't know which one it is, just be aware that you will most probably have to take them both to the vet. Another negative is their temperaments can change at any point. Be together for 2 weeks and then one of them's not about it and flips out and attacks the other, or they could be together for 2 years before that happens. Like I said, if you are going to cohab them, this is the very reason, or one of the few very reasons, one of the many very reasons, you would have to keep a close eye on them. And again, my final one, which is just like a reiteration that If you do notice one of them getting sick, getting skinnier, or something going on with their eyes or something like that, you should probably take both of them to the vet because they are sharing an enclosed space together. And this is Daffodil. Okay, so the next things to know is whenever you are housing your leopard geckos together, remember that they do need one cool hide, one warm hide, and one humid hide each. So that's at least 6 hides right there. I would say unless you're tongue feeding, use 2 or more food dishes with them. Calcium caps, have at least 2 or more out at all times so they can choose to get some calcium whenever they want. And this is Squirt, by the way. What else? You're going to need a bigger heat pad. You're going to need a bigger enclosure. My personal preference is if you want a Cohab, minimum is a 20-gallon long, so minimum for 2 is a 40-gallon breeder in my opinion. Some people say 30, some people say way bigger than that. This is just my personal opinion. Again, I'm like in no way, shape, or form an expert at this at all. I'm just giving my personal experience and thoughts and opinions on this topic. So yeah, at the very minimum, at least 6 hides, 2 dishes, 2 food caps, unless you're tongue feeding, and a big enclosure. My minimum is a 40-gallon. And then on top of that, in case something does happen, you will need a side 20-gallon long in case you need to separate them, and that would mean also another heat mat there, lid, the whole thing. But of course you can take their hides from the original setup that you have for the 2 of them. So yeah, just remember that. In no way, shape, or form is this an easy way to take care of them. It is going to be more time and energy spent, more money spent, more space used, and it is in no way, shape, or form the easy way to do this at all. It would probably be a lot easier to get 2 separate 20-gallon long enclosures. I personally make my own bookshelf enclosures. I prefer that. So yeah, cohabbing is definitely not my top ideal way for me to house my geckos and for me wanting them to live. And here is a better view of Squirt. Aren't they beautiful? They love to stay in this hide, but once I get them out, they're one of the best to let roam around. Look at the beautiful tail. Okay, so y'all just heard everything that I just said, right? Like all of it. All the negatives, all the bad stuff, all the precautions. Okay, so now I just want y'all to listen. Here I'm introducing Kiwi and Violet, the 2 girls that I cohab together. So Kiwi and Violet are a special situation, and again, it is case by case, and like I just said a few seconds ago, I would not prefer to do this, but that's what this has come to. So I got Kiwi and Violet, I would say like a few days apart, not even a full week, and they were literally like the size of their tails now. They were so tiny. They were babies that should not have been sold, in my opinion. And they were on Craigslist, so I got them and kept them together for a little bit because I was still making my leopard gecko shelves, and they were still pretty young, so I did keep a watchful eye on them. They did seem totally fine. They acted like they didn't even know each other were there, and then once I got it all set up, I split them up, and I noticed they both just stopped being as active as they were. Violet stopped eating completely, and they did nothing but stay on their cool side. I did not see any poop or anything. I was freaking out. So I would let them have free roaming time, and I would let them free roam together, and they would always just be like a few inches apart from each other when they had the whole floor, like my room floor. They would always just want to stay together when free roaming, so I decided to put them together for a little bit longer just because they were at a decent size for the enclosures that I had at that time, and they were acting spunky and being themselves again. And so once they started getting bigger, I split them up again, and the same thing happened. They both just stayed in their hides. They didn't want to come out a lot. At that time, Violet and Kiwi stopped eating, So then I decided to put them back together. I got a larger bookshelf and made an enclosure. It's between, I would say it's like a 30-gallon itself. I have a 40-gallon on top of it, and they're just like barely any to. Anyways, so basically, yeah, I put them together in like a 30-gallon, and they were doing great again. So I decided to keep this as like a permanent thing for them. I tried three times to separate them. Yeah, after I put them in that enclosure, I wanted to put them in their own because they're like in their little adult stages, so I wanted to split them up from there, and it didn't work. Same things, they stopped eating. They were just like not as active either. So yeah, I decided, okay, well, this is gonna be like a full project now. So before, I was giving them like the bare minimum of like the hides, and I was trying to just tongue feed them and monitor them if I put 2 dishes out. I usually put 2 to 3 dishes out if I'm not tongue feeding them, and at that point I fed them each 5 mealworms. So after the 5 mealworms, I let them go at it. So yeah, but basically, yeah, I made this like a thing. So I bought them a 40-gallon, and they have their whole setup now. This will probably be their permanent home. I might change out some of the decor, but this is their permanent spot, and unless something else happens, which I do have the proper things for them, if it does, then we will separate them. But that was a 2-year-long process of trying to split them up and then putting them together and all that stuff. So even then, it was a long process for me to decide whether to cohab or not, but they just seemed more themselves when they were like that. So again, it is totally a case-by-case basis. If you remember the first gecko that I brought, my blizzard female Jasmine, she bites anything. Like when I was filming, she bit my hand twice, and it's not like excruciatingly painful or break skin or anything, but like, see, a gecko like that, I wouldn't even attempt to cohab because she tries to like attack anything that moves past her enclosure. We're getting a lot better at that. She's not like hurting herself, but when I first did get her, like everything that moved, like if my dogs walked by her enclosure, she would try and like snap at them through the glass. She's gotten a lot better, but point is, like, that type of energy and vibes, you wouldn't want to even attempt it, in my opinion. So again, just case by case basis. They were really small to begin with. They basically grew up together. So after trying to separate them 3 separate times and doing this, I decided then yes, cohabbing them would be the best thing to do, and that was my decision from there. I do still stick by, it's not the best thing in the world. It shouldn't be something you strive to do. But sometimes you gotta do it, I guess. So yeah, that was just my personal experience, personal story, personal thoughts, opinions on how the whole thing should go about. So yeah, I was actually gonna do like a full rundown of their place, but there's actually a full video, 2 videos actually, one of me getting their tank, and another one of me literally just setting up their enclosure and showing it off. So if you want to see that, I'll put it in the link down below. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and stay safe, okay? Bye.